Welcome back to another YouTube video, and today we're going to be having a lot of things happen. But first, make sure to like, subscribe. Let's begin. Alright, so first things first on my list. Let me pull up my notes. I don't remember what I'm doing. Okay, firstly, a new country is going to get created. Um, we've been doing a lot of stuff in Europe. A lot of stuff's been happening, and I think it's time we make a new country in Europe. Now, this is going to be uh a lot of settlers from Crimea who want to go ahead and create their own country. Same with French. And a lot of them meet over here, and after a lot of bloody fights, finally a leader is going to be picked, and finally they're going to create a country. So let's grab these two colors since it's settlers from these regions, and then we can just do that. And then let's take that and darken it up a little bit, make it kind of its own color. And there we go, Poland. I'm gonna call it Po area. Get it? Cause Po land land. So instead of land, it's area. I'm funny, bro. Trust. I'm gonna replace that later, but for now, it's just Poland, and their capital is going to be right over here, away from everyone else, where no it can go. These guys are gonna be in economic ruin for most of the next few episodes. Next, right before this, I want to make sure that you guys know that the latest Civilization videos have been doing really well, so thank you for that. If you want to see the series continue to evolve and grow, make sure to like and subscribe. Um, and also, we are going to have another conference in New Zealand this episode. However, right before that, let's just get this out of the way. So basically, the people here are, I think, finally sick of being ruled by these guys. And so finally, after what, like 7 episodes, an all-out civil war is triggered. Every a rebel movement basically demanding that both the blue team and the red team leave the Lagos, Nigeria, Abuja Republic. I don't even remember what I called this. That's how bad it is. I just call it red team, blue team. Anyways, I think it was Abuja Republic or Lagos, something like that. However, yeah, that's not looking good. The rebel group is pretty big. The blue team is going to be able to make it became a little bit smaller on the north. However, the red team, they're not going to have any successful strikes into that area. So, yeah, as you can see, it's not looking that good. It's actually like really, really, really bad. Now, there is one more thing that before all of this needs to be laid out, and that is okay. I just checked my note. It is Abuja Republic. I will be fixing that. That is, remember over here, there used to be a lot of troops, lot of rebel troops. So the blue team, before we can even get to anything down there, is gonna have another rebellion in the north, and soon the entire nation is gonna realize it's now or never, and quickly multiple regions are going to join the war effort all across like this and over here. Then these guys, they're gonna hug the border a little bit more, really close to the capital. That's a little scary. Basically, red team and blue team are going to realize they might need to collaborate a little bit to stop this from getting too big. Now, red team is actually going to pull out something really, really stupid, and that's going to be shutting down aid. So they're not going to let any blue team military aid cross through over here and go up, not even humanitarian aid. So it has to go all the way from here, all the way like this. That's going to lead to red team not having the effect they wanted. Basically, the rebels in the blue team area are gonna connect themselves up a little bit, and the blue team is basically gonna go to the red team, and they're gonna send their one of their top ambassadors, and they're gonna be like, "Y'all are dumb. These guys are about to completely destroy you now that they have aid from our side of the rebels as well, and now it's gonna be your fault unless you open the border." So after this happens, so as you can see, a lot of stuff just fell, and these guys also get up here capturing this, and then over here some rebel troops are going to do this little thing basically, which is going to cut off these two things. Now the red team's going to realize exactly what kind of a mistake they've made, and they're going to quickly open the border. which is going to lead to the defeating of these rebels, and the rebels in the north after aid that was coming from Abyssinia also arrives, and then these guys are also going to be pushed back. However, that is at the cost of this happening. So now, as you can see, um, it's not looking good. The rebels are at probably their biggest peak ever, and it's looking like the capital of the blue team of Blue Abuja Republic might actually fall. Before that happens, though, rebels continue to wage war, and as they're going through, destroying everything, they're going to eventually get very, very close to this, like the red team Abuja Republic's capital. Actually, they're also going to reach the coastline, which is also not very good. They're also going to basically encircle it, and now the red team is going to be like, all right, this has gone far enough, and they're going to basically activate their alliance. Every country that's a red team supported, actually, oh, Japan is in that. Oh, okay, all those guys going to war with these guys, these poor guys, these poor rebels, bro. They're so cooked. As aid continues to arrive, or before aid arrives, they're gonna actually do that. They're gonna spread even more. They're also going to begin a heavier push into blue team lands. They're gonna conquer more stuff over there. Okay, that was, I think, a little bit too much. They're not gonna conquer all of that. They're just gonna conquer this little stuff over here, like that. Yeah, they're gonna go up here. They're gonna capture this eventually. Yeah, so they're gonna get pretty big, and then an international crisis is triggered. Basically, these guys begin encouraging other colonies to uproot. And across the world, there are massive protests in most governments to basically get involved on the side of the rebels against the blue team and the red team and to sanction them. A lot of countries in very much are being scrutinized, especially their monarchies. And so the blue team and the red team are going to meet up and they're going to sign a little agreement saying, you know what, for the purposes of this, let's put aside all our differences. And they basically trigger an international crisis, basically calling on all countries of the world to go in to Abuja to destroy the rebels with the blue team and the red team, or they're against the blue team and the red team, and consequently the rest of the entire world. Now, blue and red teams' alliances themselves literally have to. They literally have to come. Everything else, what is this? Is this, like, what kind of alliance is this? Who are these dudes allied with? I'm so confused. Um, I'll figure that out later. Let's get back to the task at hand. So yeah, it's not looking good. I'm going to be honest. So I think that includes these guys. Yup, it includes these guys. Does it include these guys? This might be the red team's alliance. Honestly, it might be. Might be the red team's alliance. I will figure that out later. Um. Anyways, though. So yeah, as countries start pouring in with their aid money, the red team is able to basically do a giant spearhead that's going to cut off over here and basically going to push over here. Uh, blue team is gonna do the same thing. They're gonna just crush these guys, and yeah, it's not looking good. The recording crashed. It's okay. I undid what I did. So I think we left off here right before it crashed. Okay, so yeah, they're gonna continue their thing. Also, while it was loading back up, I managed to figure out what this is. So this is not an alliance. This is the application for the red team alliance. I forgot. That's on me. We're gonna we're gonna update some of the application stuff. We're gonna see who got accepted, who got rejected. But while that's happening, war is going to continue. The red team's actually going to be able to manage to cut these guys off, and eventually the rebel leader in that front especially is oofed, which is finally going to lead to the fall of the rebels. And well, it didn't change stuff on the map itself. But you know what it did change things on? It changed the what we know of in these guys' lives. Like, we knew these people were being sick. Now we know how badly the Civil War can be for the red team and the blue team if they didn't have that international recognition. I just want to make sure, is this the same color? Yep, it is the same color. Now let's get over here. These guys are trying to actually, I think I can fact check if this is the application. Let's just take this, turn to 50, and yeah, that is definitely an application. So, okay. So these guys were trying to join. These guys were trying to play it slick. They were trying to join both the blue team and the red team. They're going to remain in application. These guys are also going to remain in application. These guys, though, are going to actually get a chance to prove themselves because the teams basically tells them to prepare for war. Is basically the Azerbaijan thing has been conducting a lot of military strikes in this region, basically because it's looking like they might split apart as some rebels over here are going to all right. So yeah, basically, there's rebels in this region, something like that. And the red team is like, you know what, rebels, we might actually will give you a more like, cause it's like modern day Armenia and Georgia region. So this is Azerbaijan, and I'm pretty sure Armenia and Azerbaijan have like a real life border dispute. So it makes sense that even back in the day in this civilization restarts thing, there would be like Armenians living here. I'm not gonna say it's Armenians. It's going to be probably Georgians most likely because this is more Georgia and also Georgia's right there. Like this is, I'm pretty sure, our version of Georgia. So either way, but the tribe that's living there, because this is colonized land. Remember that this is not a real country. This is land that the Azerbaijanis took from the red team, and the red team colonized, which means that there were people living here, and that tribe did get split up in the war, and basically there's going to be, let's say, something like this. They're gonna have some stuff probably in the red team as well, something like this, let's say. And basically, our team's gonna be like, you know what? If you align yourselves with us and you kind of help us whoop the Azerbaijanis in case of a war, then when we do inevitably annex this land, we'll give you your own special status and make you a semi-autonomous region, kind of like Morocco is with the red team. And to sweeten the deal, we'll add your old lands that are still with us into that newly created province. Overall, a very, very good deal, and very bad for the Azerbaijanis because they would then become because then Georgia would be literally the only country in the world that borders both the Caspian and the Black Sea. Right now, it's Georgia and Azerbaijan, so trade funnels through both countries. But if that does end up happening, Georgia would become have a complete monopoly, and Crimea would be very reliant on them. Now, Crimea is obviously the economic powerhouse of the Black Sea, and the Caspians are the same over here. Now, Caspia is an ally of Azerbaijan. So they usually go through over here. Crimea, they're just wanting to trade with the Caspians, powerhouse ties, easy manufacturing, and so they really don't care. They just go through Azerbaijan as well. Now, Azerbaijan hates the Georgians, not in a military way, in an economic way, because, obviously the Georgians abuse the Azerbaijani, like, stuff, like Azerbaijan market share, yeah. And so the Caspians basically send no trade through there. Also, I want to make sure is this the same color? Yup, that's a red team ally. Okay, so yeah, basically you get it. So an Azerbaijan would be these guys hate the Caspian, so Azerbaijan then hates these guys. All in all, basically, Azerbaijan is a red team interest because of their land. So being able to control the land that Azerbaijan is on would mean that the red team would no longer have to go through Azerbaijan to get to their Asian allies or go through a blue team chokehold. So, because that Azerbaijan is probably in the next few episodes going to stop existing or something's going to happen to it, I can't say right now. However, let's move on to the next thing, which was um so yes, the creation of a new alliance. All right. So basically, after seeing how the blue team and the red team kind of pulled strings and just got a war declared on some random rebels, a lot of countries begin realizing maybe the market share is not like diverse enough. Like the blue team's alliance is so big, the red team's alliance is so big that they can basically pull strings anywhere in the world in any continent. And a lot of countries who don't get along with either are kind of starting to get a little bit sick of this. I'm not going to lie. And so a new, so very, very limited and very small alliance begins between the Mamluks and no Azerbaijan. Definitely after seeing the things that are happening right now, it's an economic alliance, not a military alliance, because they don't want to get absolutely whooped by the red team and the blue team for being a military alliance. Caspia and Georgia. Now, it's not a full like world alliance. It's only for Asia and specifically for Caspian countries, like countries that border the Caspian Sea. But a lot of alliances like this are probably going to start appearing soon because, as much as countries have their differences, they really don't like being bossed around by the blue team. Um so yeah, that's one thing. That is going to be like a neutral economic alliance. Now, the thing is that when you so okay, let me update something in my notes because originally it was supposed to be a military alliance. uh anyway, yeah, let's move on. Next thing is going to be the New Zealand conference, finally, part 2. So after the stuff over here, the blue team's going to call a conference once more because they basically want to get attention drawn away from there, and they're going to talk about the increasing tensions in the world. So this is a military conference this time, and basically they're going to tell the world that an iron curtain has descended. Sound familiar? We're getting inspired by history today. And they're going to basically say that the rift between the blue team and the red team is a little bit too great now, and war is imminent. They're going to basically tell the smaller countries, for your own safety, uh, for your own, for your own, what's the word? I'm lost. For your own safety, yeah, for your own safety, join an alliance, or you might be a little bit cooked. A lot of countries are going to ignore this. A lot of them. It's actually surprising how many are going to be ignoring this. However, you know what's not going to be ignored? Uh, these guys. Because in the conference, they're going to come up and they're going to basically announce a new initiative. The rebel, I forgot their name. I'm going to be very honest. Central Asians, I don't even know. They're going to basically say that in their economic zone of water, which is like about yay, blue team would say it's about yay. Doesn't really matter. Let's just say this right here. They're going to say, we're going to be pitching a new idea: gold mining. So, the first country that's going to be trying to look for gold under the water. That's the first time someone's going to be trying to do this. They're going to develop some of the best naval fleets, and they basically want to secure the Indian Ocean because of the pirating problem in this region of the world. Blue team and red team instantly are investing in that. Next, the blue team is going to demand the Qing dynasty to uh, go ahead and tell them how the progress is going up here in Siberia. So let's take a look at that. The Siberian region is going to continue with its colonization, as the Qing are going to continue to look for gold. They're going to colonize this new area. However, a little problem is going to happen. The Japanese are going to go against all the treaties because, Siberia was promised to basically just the Qing, and the entire world was kind of respecting that. And the Japanese are going to actually do something that may get them kicked out of the alliance. The first country to get kicked out of an alliance. They're going to announce their own initiative to build in Siberia. And they're going to colonize this region. The blue team and the red team are both going, and the Qing are going to be, alongside a lot of other countries, insanely upset at this, basically saying that this is against international law, and every country agreed to give Siberia to the Qing. This is going to be followed by a majority vote in the Red Team Alliance to kick the Japanese out. That is not going well for the Japanese so far. The Chinese, now the Qing, are also going to begin destroying a lot of port cities in the north of Japan and actually launch a military invasion unofficially. It's going to be basically a ruthless commander who's kind of mad, and they're going to burn a lot of villages and then they're going to leave. How Japan is going to stay strong. They're going to come, they're going to rebuild those villages, and they're going to say, no matter what happens, we will continue our Siberian initiatives. So, yeah, that's something. That's not good. Now we're going to go over to some of the last things in this video before ending it off, and that is going to be a civil war in the Himalayas. Basically, the Himalayan monarchy is getting a lot of hate now because they're not with the blue team, but they're with the blue team. They're not with the red team, but they're also kind of with the red team. And then they're also trading with the Mamluks. And basically, all countries are starting to get sick of them. So, they're all starting to trade less and less, and the economy is crashing. These guys really thought they could pull a Crimea and trade with everyone, however, it's not happening. Eventually, a lot of peasants are going to finally get upset by the monarchy and inspired by the rebels in the Abuja Republic, and also because these guys went against the wishes of their people and invaded Abuja alongside the blue and the red team, especially after literally their entire country held a referendum in which 80% of the population demanded an end to the war. And so, yeah, a gigantic rebellion is going to begin. Now, quickly, this rebellion is going to get pretty far until the monarch is going to actually step down, freezing the rebellion and eventually ending it completely. However, he's going to be succeeded by the queen. So the queen is going to make a lot of changes. She's going to start dividing these lands up into mini provinces, giving allocations, basically a statehood system, kind of like the red team. So stay tuned for that. That's going to be. We'll see how the Himalayas are going to do. Next thing, last thing, actually, Saigon and New Zealand. The New Zealand, I mean Saigon and the Philippines. The conference, basically New Zealand, is going to trigger a war between these two, as the Philippines are going to basically say how the Philippine Islands belong to them. The These guys, the Saigons, they're going to basically raise their hand. They're going to be like, "What about this island?" And the Philippines is trying to basically say that they want to be able to dig for gold everywhere in this archipelago, which the blue team's going to agree on. They're going to let the Philippines dig in their archipelago. And the Philippines, remember, they claim this. They don't like that the Saigon has this. So they're basically going to tell half the world, you know what? Screw the sanctions. We're going to pull off something that, wait, there was a country, I don't remember who, but there was someone who asked for money to go invade. So, oh yeah, Romania. They asked for money to invade the red team. So just like that, and then they got kicked and banned from the next few conferences. So these guys are going to do the same thing, but since they're a blue team ally, they're not going to be kicked. And this is going to cause a great rift between the blue team and the Saigon. And the Saigon is basically going to say, "Why aren't you kicking them? They're doing literally the same thing." Now Romania was a Saigon ally, so somewhat ally. So it's going to pain the Saigon people. And with their newly acquired funding, Philippines is going to go over here. A fist fight is actually going to break out in the conference room with the Saigon ambassador and the Philippines ambassador, so that's going to cause a rift. And after the capture of that, the Philippines are actually going to move through and they're going to begin an invasion on mainland Saigon. Now, the blue team is going to say that the Philippines has gone too far, and this was not what the funding was for. However, the Philippines are not going to stop. They're going to continue the invasion until eventually reaching over here and signing a peace treaty with Saigon that's going to leave Saigon in absolute economic ruin. Saigon, not expecting this as the war itself, is going to be basically forced to sign this peace treaty. So, taking a look at the peace treaty, this island that the Saigonese people basically like is their kind of like one of their major victory sites because they stole this island from so many countries. It's basically supposed to represent how great they are, and now very, very like intentionally, the Philippines are going to annex half of it only. They could have annexed almost all of it, but they wanted it to be split up just to deliver that final blow. They also want a land border with these guys. So yeah, with that, let's end the video right there. Saigon is going to probably start distancing itself from the Blue Team Alliance now. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.